We believe that no one is above the law, including the President of the United States, and we believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up. And that was the nature of the meeting.
Did you have a successful meeting on imposition of some of your members on impeachment or contempt or anything? Is that part of the persuasion at this stage?
It wasn't a question of persuasion. We were just exchanging information and points of view.
That was Speaker Nancy Pelosi just moments ago as more members from her own party are calling for the president's impeachment. Fox is also told that Speaker Pelosi told Democrats in that closed-door meeting that a decision about forging ahead with impeachment would not be based on politics. It is time for our headliner, Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary and senior advisor and spokesman for America First PAC. Sean, good morning.
Good morning, Sean.
Good morning.
You are hearing Nancy Pelosi's words along with us from a short time ago. You heard her just say that she and those in that room believe that the president is involved in a cover-up. First, your reaction to that?
My reaction is, what cover-up? The first part of what she said was we need to follow the facts. And the facts are that we've had 3 investigations. They put all of their eggs in the Mueller basket, if you will, and he came out and was very clear that there was no collusion. So I think the Democrats have invested everything into try to undermine this president. They lost the election. Right? And they've continued to figure out excuses as to why they've done it. They've now had 3 opportunities. House investigation, a Senate investigation, and now the Mueller report, all of which have come to the same conclusions. It's time Nancy Pelosi moved on and also showed the American people what they want to do. They have no agenda, so the only thing they can do is talk about undermining this president and the progress that he's made.
You know, Sean, they point to, or probably will point to, those 10 alleged cases of obstruction of justice that Mueller had. But, you know, as you say, it hasn't been proven.
Well, but again, you have to cover up something, right? So if there's no underlying crime, there's no underlying issue, which Mueller was conclusive about, then you can't cover up nothing. And what Nancy Pelosi is saying, frankly, doesn't make sense. The President of the United States, over and over again, has been vindicated on this point. So what is he actually covering up? And I think Mueller was clear that there were opportunities that he looked at, and he said that there are some thoughts that he had. But the Attorney General, who he reports to, was very clear that when he and the Deputy Attorney General reviewed those 10 instances, they found nothing.
I'm just reading through the transcript of Nancy Pelosi's remarks there because she stepped out, talked to reporters after this closed-door meeting concluded. She talked about it being making a lot of progress in that meeting, different presentations from different people. She also said Jerry Nadler spoke. And we know, as the Wall Street Journal put it this morning, Democrats are fuming after yesterday Don McGahn, former White House counsel to the president, did not show at that hearing. Since then, Jerry Nadler's issued 2 more subpoenas. How far do you think Democrats are going to go here?
I don't know. I mean, I could see them taking this all the way to court. The question comes down to executive privilege. The president has a right to invoke that. That's a time-tested, established legal, whatever you call it, precedent in this country. And so the president has a right to invoke executive privilege. I think Nadler's view is, well, you didn't invoke it during the Mueller report. How can you invoke it now? We'll see how far they're willing to take this. But as it stands right now, I think the president's going to continue to assert his rights under executive privilege, not just for Don McGahn, but for the rest of the staff. Look, and I think this is lost on a lot of folks. Don McGahn testified for over 30 hours in front of Mueller. If Mueller had all of these investigators to look at all of the different alleged instances of collusion, et cetera, and again, he conclusively said there was nothing. So these guys continue to dig, to look under rocks, because they've been proven wrong so many times that I think it's embarrassing. And what they're trying to do is find some way to dignify this false narrative and false investigation that they've supported all along, to make up for, frankly, the fact that they blew this the last election.
Sean, you mentioned going to court. Here's the Wall Street Journal editorial saying for nearly 50 years, multiple administrations have held that Congress cannot compel the appearance of a close advisor to the president. So what do you think will happen if, and it likely will, go to court?
Well, I think I'm probably the last person anyone should be taking legal advice from. I watch a lot of Orner, but that's about it. But from what I understand, that's right. It's been held up that the president has a right to invoke executive privilege so that he can confer with aides and make decisions on the country's behalf with respect to policy and other matters. So I would fully expect, through my very limited legal knowledge, that this gets upheld.
You've been in the room with the president when you guys are talking. I mean, what's that like?
It's great. I mean, being that up close to government is pretty fascinating, and it's an honor to watch all of that get made in the decision making. I think there's always been, in my opinion, a false narrative about how the president makes decisions. He likes bringing a lot of competing ideas to the table. He listens to everyone, and then he makes a final decision and tells everyone to go execute it. Watching that happen, though, is a pretty fascinating thing in terms of the number of people that he brings into the discussion, and in many cases, the qualifications that these individuals bring to the table is pretty remarkable.
He has been tweeting away this morning, and
Surprise.
he is making the case that Democrats are on a fishing expedition. In one of his latest tweets, Sean, he says, quote, "The Democrats are on a fishing expedition, wanting to interview the same people and see the same things as we just went through for 2 years with Robert Mueller and the 18 angry Dems. Never happened to a president before. Never, ever happened to President Obama." You heard the president talk a lot about this at this rally in Pennsylvania he had the other day. 2020 is quickly approaching. We see the number of Democrats that are running, Sean. Put this in the perspective of 2020, the words of the president, and as we see the other side gear up to run against him.
Well, I think the Democrats are sort of balancing a very tight rope here, which is they've got to appease the very far left of their base, the angry mob of their base that wants to get this president at any cost. But on the other hand, they've got to start offering an agenda that is something more than just impeachment and attacking Donald Trump. And that's where they're losing the narrative. Most of the American people are focused on, is my life getting better? Are we moving the country in a better place? Are we making it safer? And the president continues to rack up scores on the economy and other aspects of his agenda. The Democrats look like they have nothing to offer except for more investigations. I think that harms their ultimate nominee, because when you look at the president's record of accomplishment and the direction that the country's going in versus the nothing that they're offering, that favors the president, especially as we come down to these key battleground states, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. That's where this election is going to be decided. Those people who are talking about their pocketbook issues, are their lives being improved, are their wages going up, are going to side with the president and his record of accomplishment.
Jim Jordan was fired up. We had him on last hour, Sean. Here's the congressman.
There are secret memorandums of understanding, secret MOUs between the various chairmen on how they will coordinate their attack on the president. I mean, they're basically contracts. You're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to share certain information, a coordinated effort to take down the president. So I think they've already started. They just won't formally declare it. I think at some point they will probably do it. The American people know it's not justified. The American people know it's not going to succeed. But I don't think the Democrats can help themselves.
Sean, that was Jim Jordan last hour making the case that they've already begun. Democrats have already begun impeachment proceedings. They just haven't announced it or made it official yet. Final thoughts from you this morning, Sean?
I think Nancy Pelosi made this very clear at the beginning of her term, that they were going to use all of these committees and levers that they have to go after the president. She's trying to use that as a way to hold her members back from pushing towards impeachment. She knows that she has a number of members, probably around 30, that are in districts that the president won. Those people are unequivocally, careers will be over the second that they overstep. She's trying to prevent this from political reasons, but she understands that she has to let enough air out of the valve to let these members say they were doing something. So Jim Jordan's absolutely right. This is a coordinated effort to kind of give their members enough cover that they're doing something just shy of impeachment. My guess is, though, that they go over the cliff and she can't hold her members back.
And a fired up Sean Spicer joining us this morning. All right, Sean.
All right, Sean. Thank you. Good to see you.